These baby hummingbirds are smaller than you think. Before they become jewels in the air. Eyes closed. Bodies bare. Heads too heavy to hold for long. And all of it happens inside a nest so small, it looks impossible. A cup no wider than a few leaves. Balanced on a slender branch. Hidden in green shadow. But the secret of this nest is not just how small it is. The secret is what holds it together. Spider silk. The story begins before the chicks exist. A female hummingbird moves through the trees with a purpose so quiet that most people would never notice it. She does not build a nest like a crow. She does not weave a basket like a weaver bird. She does not carve a hole into wood. She builds a tiny living cup. Piece by piece. Soft plant down.
Fine moss.
Flakes of lichen. Tiny fibers lifted from the world around her. And then, the most important thread. She gathers it carefully, strand by strand, from webs stretched between leaves and branches. To us, spider silk may look almost weightless. But for a hummingbird, it is construction material. It binds the nest. It wraps the outside. It helps fasten the cup to the branch. And it gives the nest something a hard nest could never have. Because this nest must do more than hold eggs. It must change. At first, the nest is a perfect little cup. Soft inside. Camouflaged outside. So small it can vanish against bark, moss, and lichen. Inside it, the mother lays 2 tiny white eggs. They rest side by side in a space that seems barely large enough to hold them. The mother sits over them, light as a feather but constant as the weather. Wind moves the branch. Rain darkens the leaves. Shadows pass overhead. The nest must hold. It must stay attached. It must stay hidden. It must stay warm. And then, after days of stillness, the first shell begins to crack. The chick that emerges does not look like a hummingbird. There is no shining throat. No perfect feathers. No hovering body.
No glittering flash of color.
Just a tiny, fragile life. Bare skin. Closed eyes. Sparse down. A small body trembling inside a nest, made for miracles. Soon, the second chick follows. Now there are two tiny bodies in one tiny cup. They cannot fly. They cannot feed themselves. They cannot leave. They cannot even understand the branch beneath them. Everything depends on the mother returning. Again and again, she appears like a living spark. A blur through green light. A tiny body stopping in the air. Wings beating too fast for the eye to hold. But she is not coming only with sweetness from flowers. Baby hummingbirds need more than nectar. They need the building blocks of bodies. tiny insects. Soft spiders. Protein hidden in the smallest lives of the garden and forest. The mother gathers food from flowers, leaves, air, and webs. Then she returns to the nest and lowers her long bill into the waiting mouths of her chicks. The feeding looks delicate. But it is urgent. A chick this small has no room for delay. Its body is growing every hour. Its bones are forming. Its feathers are preparing. Its heart is working inside a creature lighter than it seems possible to be. The mother feeds. The chicks swallow. The nest holds. At first, the chicks barely fill the cup. They lie low, eyes sealed, heads rising only when they sense their mother. But the change comes quickly. Their skin darkens. Their bodies gain shape. Their necks strengthen. Their mouths open wider. Their hunger grows. And now, the impossible part begins. The nest that once held 2 tiny eggs must now hold 2 growing birds. A rigid nest would fail. It would crack. It would crowd them. It would push them out before they were ready. But this nest was built with spider silk. As the chicks grow, the cup stretches. Not like magic. But gradually, thread by thread, the silk gives. The walls expand. The rim shifts. The tiny cradle makes room for life that is becoming too large for it. This is the genius of the hummingbird nest. It is soft enough to cradle the smallest chicks. Strong enough to survive wind, rain, and movement. And flexible enough to grow with the bodies inside it. The mother keeps working. Even after the eggs hatch, her job does not become easier. She must feed them, warm them, shade them, guard them, and leave them again to find more food. Every trip away is a risk. The nest is hidden, but not invisible. A branch may shake. A storm may bend the leaves. A predator may move through the trees. Even a curious eye can become danger if it comes too close. The chicks cannot run. They cannot hide somewhere else. They cannot fly from the nest. Their only protection is stillness, camouflage, and a mother that knows when to return. Day by day, the nest becomes more crowded. The chicks begin to look less like helpless skin and more like birds. Dark eyes open. Feathers spread. Tiny bodies press against each other. Little bills point upward whenever the mother appears. The same cup that once looked empty now looks full. Then overfull. Two young hummingbirds sit packed together. Their bodies rising above the rim, their wings folded tightly against the walls. The nest has done its job almost too well. It has held them through the stage when nothing else could. But no nest can hold them forever. One chick begins to move differently.
It shifts higher.
It grips the rim. It lifts its wings and lets them tremble. Not flight yet. The wings open, close, open again. A body built for hovering must first learn what wings are.
Outside the nest, the world is enormous. Leaves move like waves. Branches sway in wind. Light flashes between green shadows.
The air is open, unstable, and full of distance. For a baby hummingbird, the first step toward that air is not graceful. It is a test, a wobble on the rim.
The mother returns again and again, feeding bodies that are almost ready to leave her cup of silk.
And then, the moment comes. One chick stands at the edge. The nest that once seemed impossibly small.
Its wings are no longer just growing. They are waiting. For weeks, spider silk held this bird in place. Now the same life that was protected by the nest must leave it. Not the perfect hovering jewel it will one day be, not yet, but alive, airborne, free from eggs. And soon, the little nest is quiet again. It held 2 eggs, it warmed 2 helpless chicks,